Stacy Arakistain, and I am the chair of the Asian Pacific Islander Business Advisory Council here at the Chamber. Since the council was established by the Chamber last July, we have developed our mission and established goals for 2023 and continue to expand and grow. Tonight, we are very excited to be launching our first official API Business Advisory Council event in celebration of Heritage Month. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a great panel of Asian Pacific Islander business professionals, as well as a longtime educator and community supporter serving as our moderator. Here's how the program will run. The panel will address questions from the moderator until about 5:40 p.m. Then we'll open it up to the audience for questions and answers. So be sure to jot down any thoughts or questions that might come up as we're going through the program and reserve them specifically for that question and answer portion of our program. All right, let's get started. It's my pleasure to introduce our moderator for tonight's presentation, Dr. We-Wei Lou. Dr. Lou is a longtime educator in the K-12 system as well as higher education in Oregon. A native of China, Dr. Lou has served as a board chair and a member for the Asian Pacific American Network of Oregon, commonly known as APANO, and is currently a board member of the Chinese Fellowship Association of Portland. There is so much of her story, so much more to her story, and I would love for her to take a few minutes to share that with us. So please help me welcome Dr. We-Wei Lou.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel really honored to be invited to be the moderator of this wonderful panel. Although I'm not a business owner, I have worked with so many young people and so many community members who are business people and who have been the backbone of our community. During the AAPI month, Heritage Month, I think this is a wonderful, wonderful event that the Chamber is doing. And I want to thank Stacy for leading this whole event. Thank you, and I look forward to talking to the panel shortly. Okay, let's get started. First of all, we would like to know more about you. Would you like to say something about yourself? A short introduction?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Jenny Yuen. I am a mortgage sales manager at US Bank Home Mortgage. I have been in the banking industry for the last 20 years, and I'm very grateful to be here today and spending this summer afternoon with everyone. My hobbies on the weekends are cooking and yoga. And something fun about me is I am right now learning how to fly to become a pilot. And also I am a certified yoga instructor.
Thank you. That's amazing. That is amazing. I wonder where you find the time to do all of those things.
I am trying to find additional time. It's been a little challenging, but you know.
Wonderful, wonderful. Lisa?
Yes. Hi, I'm Lisa Nishioka. I am the founder of XANADU Real Estate. I have been in the real estate industry for about 23 years and had my company for about the last 10 years, and actually 13. And I have 2 boys and my husband, and I'm also a grandmother of 2 young little boys. So that's who I spend my time with mostly.
Thank you.
My name is Dr. Tony Tran. I'm actually the owner of Prolific Wellness Chiropractic and Sports Rehab. I've been born and raised here in Portland all my life, so pretty much the past 30-something years, not disclosing my age, but but I actually grew up about 10 minutes away from here. I went to Century High School. I then went to Portland State and then to the University of Western States for chiropractic school, where I got my doctorates as well as my master's in sports medicine. So
Wow.
I like the West Coast, and I'll probably be staying on the West Coast.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll start with a question that that you can talk about your experiences as a API business owner. Okay, who would like to start? The first question.
I'll go first.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
So I graduated from University of Western States in 2016, and then I worked for someone until 2020, till the start of COVID. Then I decided that I needed to open up my practice. So there's a lot of uncertainties when COVID first started, especially with the shutdown. With the shutdown though, with uncertainty, I wanted to get credentialed with insurance. So that was a whole beast of a whole process here. So some people told me it was 2 months, some people told me it was 6 months. It was kind of both, and some actually took 8 months. So I didn't actually see my first patient until 4 months into practice with all that uncertainty with OHA as well. But over the past year, I had too many stuff on my plate, and then my wife actually told me, you can't put all your energy on patients if you are having too many tasks distracting you. So we actually hired a biller, and that actually took some things off my plate. It made it a little easier so I can put more energy into focus on my patients as well. Recently, we hired our first patient care coordinator, and she's been able to help patients with any messaging or emails, and they've always will talk to her before they even step into our office. So that's been some of the things that has made it easier. It's just offloading off my plates.
Wow. Well, listen to that.
Amazing.
You have listed some challenges that you have faced and how you overcome those, right?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. How about Lisa?
Hi. So thanks again, Stacy, for having us here. I appreciate that. So before becoming the founder of XANADU Real Estate, I was with a bigger brokerage and was fortunate to have great mentors in the industry. After years of being with them, the brokerage that I was with decided that they were changing over new ownerships. That gave me the opportunity to do some research and open up my own branch, and which I did. Having my company opened in 2010, and it's been doing very well. And I just recently was told that I am the only API women owner of a real estate company in Oregon. So it kind of blew me away, because for me it's, you know, I'm hoping that by me being here that I can encourage other people of API, especially women, to follow your dreams and keep thriving, and don't let anybody say you can't.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, Jenny.
Yes, so I went to University of Oregon, graduated in 2000. Shortly after graduation, I moved to San Diego and entered into the financial world of banking. In 2003, I wanted to be back home to be with my family, and I started as a wholesale account executive for a wholesale mortgage company. For the first 5 years, I was the newest salesperson for every company, and I was given clients that my peers did not want to work with. And I was able to turn those non-performing clients into the highest producing offices within 6 months at every single company. Then the market crashed in 2008, and I decided to go directly onto the street where I would originate mortgages from clients. My favorite clients are first-time home buyers, because I'm able to help them achieve the dream of home ownerships. And therefore, I spent the last 15 years as a mortgage originator. I recently decided to step up to be a sales manager with US Bank, given an amazing opportunity by my company. And I actually have my very first hire, my superstar, Karina Chicas, here with me. And one of my best friends from Seattle, she took the train down. I don't know if you can see her, but she actually is in a boots because she hurt herself last week, and she still came down. And I'm so grateful for the support that I'm receiving from my colleagues. And what I've always had to do in my role, especially in the financial world, in sales, is my peers did not look like me. They were not Asian, they were not females. I've always competing with, I was always the only person in the room that didn't look like the rest. And what that meant was I had to work 5 times harder to work with in a more difficult market, which helped me be better at my job. When you work hard, the reward is actually much higher. And again, very grateful to be here to share my experience, but just go for it. Even if there's challenges in the way, you can overcome anything in America.
Yes.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, this question goes to all of you. I would like to have one volunteer to answer this. Now, in the current economic climate, what challenges do you really see for AAPI businesses?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Lisa, go ahead.
Yeah, so in this current climate, real estate, we're all facing a slowing of business. But networking, community involvement, you have so many things that Meals on Wheels, Apano, ARIA, you have many organizations that you can get your feet, tap into, and get your face and your name out there. And honestly, it even boosts your ego sometimes. It makes you feel good about yourself. But if business isn't coming to you, you have to go out and get it. So, that would be
Wow, you actually answered part of our next question, which is what role does networking play in the AAPI business?
Yeah.
Tony?
Oh, okay. Just like Lisa said, there's plenty of organizations where you can do networking, just like Washington County Chambers, LATIP, BNI. It's not always just a monetary thing that these networking events you can help you with, but there's been other business owners who've been in the business for 20, 30, maybe in 40 years. You can gain a lot of knowledge by picking their brains. A lot of these business owners are also growth mindset, and they're driven, so they can keep you accountable as well. I know when I wouldn't have had this opportunity to be here if it wasn't for networking. The realtor that we bought our house with, he is friends with Tracy Brophy, who is actually Megan Brophy's sister, and Megan's on the council here with AAPI as well. So networking is huge for my business, and it's a lot more valuable too. So.
Is Tim your realtor, Tim Seelan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a small world.
Yeah.
Portland is an amazing 2 degrees of separation. Everybody is connected somehow. And I think that's why it's very important to network and work together as a whole.
What do you learn about the networking sort of environment?
So for me, I am a social butterfly. It's in my DNA that I want to be out and about. During COVID, I was given the opportunity to work from home in my pajamas. However, I may have worked from home 1 day a week because I still wanted to be out and about. Even when I wasn't client facing, I would be delivering. At times, I would actually deliver toilet papers because I know that when there is a shortage, people are going to remember me as a mortgage officer. Oh my God, Jenny, drop off a packet of toilet paper for me. When I saw on social media if they needed something, so I wasn't stalking, I was just helping at the time. So networking, in which just connected me to more conversation and opportunities for business.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. How can the Chamber of Commerce facilitate networking further to support you? Yes, Lisa?
I think the Chamber of Commerce can facilitate opportunities by opening up space for people of AAPI. So, you know, we're always looking for places where we can come together and join forces and maybe even create classes or events. Knowledge is power, so what we don't know, we can't use. But if we get together like this and have events, monthly events, or even learning opportunities like safety classes and other things, first-time homebuyer seminars that realtors put on, you know, having a big safe space where we can come and have people of AAPI come and join in and listen, it's a great opportunity.
True, true. Tony, what do you think?
I think I agree with Lisa as well. Just having the space and just the opportunity events where they can just endorse and just get gatherings with businesses to network and just exposure. I think that can be a huge part for growing the AAPI community. Just a lot more exposure.
Events like this, right? Yes, and on Zoom and also in person, definitely will get the word out for people to see us, right? And then, are there any specific resources or initiatives that you know of that you could share with everybody? I know you mentioned about Apano, for instance. I know Apano very well, and I also know a huge group of people who support Apano all the way. And
I'm also an affiliate of ARIA, so I'm on the ARIA, so I know that we have had some dealings with Apano and I think they did the gala for Apano and things like that. I also know Meals on Wheels, the seniors, they always have opportunities for people to involve themselves in and give back to our community. Pacific University has a great AAPI event that they put up every summer, as well as in Vancouver, Washington, there's one that's called the 4 Days of Aloha, and it really attracts a whole bunch of different people from AAPI to come out and just, just socialize with each other, and it's just a beautiful energy there.
very good, very good. What do you see resources and initiatives?
So this year, my goal is to get more involved and be on multiple boards. When my time allows, outside of yoga and flying, and I would like to probably get more involved with ARIA.
That's very encouraging, if you can find the time.
I want to clone myself. Maybe.
Let us know how you do that.
Doctor?
So for resources, I think a lot of it's on social media as well. There's a lot of groups speaking up on social media. One group is Asian American Town. They speak up on it, as well as I have a friend, his sister, Courtney On Design, shout out on Instagram. She's got over 200,000 followers, and she always speaks up about BIPOC issues as well as microaggressions. So she just tries to educate her followers. I also have a friend this Sunday in the Pearl, 6:30 to 8:30. They're doing a climb for AAPI month, and then they're trying to have also businesses there as sponsors. So a lot of that is just trying to help build camaraderie in the community as well.
Wow.
That's very nice.
It really is exciting, huh? Now, do you have any, have you seen any specific programs or organizations that you work closely with in your work and also in your sort of social action, social activity?
I volunteer with Meals on Wheels. I also do raising money, or I also do, if I see organizations that are low on food sources, I'll go ahead and sponsor them and create an event and help them out. And so anywhere I can help in community service when we're not busy working on our own projects, I'm always there to help.
That's wonderful. Jenny?
So I donate to the Oregon Dog Rescue because I'm a dog lover.
Yay.
Huh. Do you have a dog?
I have two.
Oh, you have
They're my
two?
fur babies, yes.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Which organization do you think has been helpful and beneficial to your business and in your networks? We mentioned Apano, Ariel, right? ERCO, have you worked with ERCO, the new immigrant group?
No, not yet.
Not
But
yet.
we will,
We
Lisa.
will, definitely.
Yes. And Tony?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Oh, have you heard about ERCO?
I have not.
Oh, you have not.
I will now. No, I'll do some research after
The
this.
immigrant and refugee ERCO, Immigrant and Refugee Coalition in Southeast Portland.
Oh,
That's also a very big organization that works very well with the new immigrant population, and also we have lots of AAPI new immigrants, right? I don't know if you have any opportunities working with them. That's another huge population that needs lots of help and lots of
Right.
support because they're new. Let's move on. Have you encountered any instances of discrimination and prejudice in your work?
So in the finance world, it's a very competitive market, regardless of color, race, and I see every challenge that I have ever faced as an opportunity to improve. I think it's just my tenacity has helped me not focus on prejudice from anyone and just give it my best and know that, hey, this is hard, and if I can become the best in what I do, then I'm winning, not for only myself, but for my family.
Great, great. And I bet yoga helps.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Right. Lisa?
I haven't experienced or had any encounter on discrimination or prejudice within my organization. However, I have experienced a form of microaggression as a female in setting boundaries with my contractors as a developer that remodel and resell homes. For me, it's about educating others and being in control of my own emotions, as we have no control over others.
What did you do when that happened?
I fired them and hired someone else.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Tony?
So I've actually never had someone be like racist or prejudiced to my face, but you know, if they looked at me online and then they looked at my website, see I'm Asian, I wouldn't know if they didn't come to see me because of that, right? But there was, you know, during COVID, you know, it was the coronavirus or the COVID, some people call it the China flu or the Kung flu. I was dealt with that situation or scenario, and I addressed it, and I told them that it was kind of demeaning to Asian people, especially Chinese people, when that happened, and I thought that was like a learning experience for me. So that's one experience over the past couple of years that I've dealt with.
Have you heard about your friends or your people in your network who have experienced discrimination or prejudice?
So I actually have a friend, she's the one that's hosting the event on Sunday, but she used to work as a examiner for truck drivers. So she would do medical examining for truck driver, and she is part of the LGBT community. So she dealt with a lot of just microaggression or just racism. Maybe they don't mean as malice, but you know, it does cut deep sometimes for them. So.
How did she address that?
She confronted them also, but she also, you know, spoke with her therapist as well. But she confronted them, and then it was more of an opportunity for her to grow as well by confronting them.
Yes, yes, yes. Anyone else? Okay. I personally worked in education for a long time, and I still work at PSU, and I have graduate students. I would say that I personally do experience very subtle reactions from people when they hear about certain events, you know, like the COVID. Of course, that is a very recent sort of occurrence about discrimination, and also lots of misunderstanding about Asians, right? Another piece, I also taught graduate schools in education the history of immigrants. The history, of course, in this country is full of issues and full of events that Asians, including other people of color, had experienced. I do know that they exist, and I'm hoping that the business owners and then AAPA business sort of entrepreneurs could speak up when things like this happen. So our children and our grandchildren don't have to suffer from the discrimination. The next question is about decision makers, about legislatures in the state of Oregon. I wondered if you would like to see any changes in the policy or any initiatives in the sort of Oregon legislature that would benefit and further support AAPI businesses.
I have not investigated into it yet. Not that it's not something that I'm interested in, but I would need to look into that more further and maybe even learn a little bit or two of what we need in the AAPI.
Jenny?
Lisa, I think you and I have a project after this event. We're going to collaborate together and see what we can do.
There you go.
Yeah. Actually, it's not that difficult to say something or do something about Salem. For instance, because of my role in Apano, I joined a coalition of all the nonprofit organizations in Oregon that focus on education. For instance, in the state of Oregon, there used to be groups of support and also specific funding for African American students, for Latino students, and for Native American students. But there was nothing like that to support AAPI students. So this coalition worked together. We worked with the legislatures, also some newly elected Asian and AAPI legislators. I think we have 3 now.
Oh, good.
I know, who worked very hard to push the initiatives that would benefit AAPI students. And I believe last year we got the PI support, and this year we probably will get the Asian student support. So it's not that difficult.
No.
Legislators actually would love to hear from all of us, and that would be a great opportunity. If you want something changed in Oregon, that would make things better for all of us.
Yes.
Right?
Agree.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll work with Stacy and to see if the chamber could take the lead on some of these issues, and then at least
Good
get
idea,
us
Stacy,
get us informed.
To-do list.
Yeah, of what is happening. We come to the last question. It's fast, right? So what message would you like to send to the broader community who are here today and who are not here today about the importance of supporting AAPI businesses and entrepreneurs like yourselves?
Want to go first?
I'll have you go first.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's be a patron of AAPI small businesses, local businesses, any local businesses for that matter. But if you have a platform, use it to share information about these businesses. They are definitely appreciated amongst them. I will go out and patron restaurants that are owned by AAPI, and I do shout outs there, and I use my platform and I give them a shout out, and maybe it'll get them 5 or 10 more people, but at least it'll get their name out, and we just help each other grow together.
How do you think we should do that?
By supporting them by going there and spending your dollars there and eating at their restaurants and keeping them in business.
Yes.
It's the biggest thing that you can do is just by supporting these people and letting them know that, hey, you know, we love your food, we love your services, and we will be here to support you.
Cool. Jenny?
So for me, I love to eat. And what I also do is I grow my business by referrals. And a lot of times business happen over a business meal. And 99% of the time, I will have my business meetings at an API-owned restaurant. And I just happen to be able to work with partners who also love Asian food. So that's quite easy for me that I'm able to have a business meeting at API-owned restaurants and have everyone who enjoys the meal. And then I would ask them to bring their family, friends back and maybe have them host their next business meeting at an API-owned restaurant. My parents actually still have a Chinese restaurant in a small town at the coast. They have been in business for 30 years. And that's where I learned my customer service skill, dealing with hungry customers.
Cool, cool. Tony?
I agree with both Jenny and Lisa here. If you're going to be, going out to eat, I love to eat. My wife and I, we went out to Thai food last night, so going to AAPI restaurants. But if you had a great experience, please record it, post it on social media. Hopefully other people can see it too. Like for myself, we do a lot of business and networking events going to Asian restaurants. We love Asian food, so a lot of it has been talked about with other business owners as well, but just sharing, and I think just supporting and building a community and camaraderie, I think that's a great way to start supporting local businesses as well.
True, true. Since we have time, I would like to add a question. I work with lots of AAPI high school students. Well, high school age, if you tell them to go to a class or do something, or the weekend go to a Chinese class, they might not agree with you, right? But if I provide them with an internship program, for instance, working or sort of asking you if you can tell them exactly how you become a doctor, exactly how you become a realtor, right? Exactly how to become an officer in a bank, what would you tell them?
I have a message that I want to share today. I found this, believe it or not, I actually learned a lot from social media, and I'm going to actually read off the story because verbatim, I want to share exactly what I came across. The message behind here is know your worth. Surround yourself with people who know your worth. You don't need many people in your life, just real ones who appreciate you for exactly who you are. Here's the story. A violinist played for 45 minutes in a New York subway, and a handful of people stopped. A couple clapped, and the violinist managed to raise about $30 in tips. No one knew this, but the violinist was Joshua Bell, one of the best musicians in the world. In that subway, Joshua played one of the most intricate pieces ever written with a violin worth $3.5 million. Wow. Just 2 days before he played in the subway, Joshua Bell sold out at a theater in Boston, and the seats average about $100. This experiment proved that the extraordinary in an ordinary environment does not shine and is so often overlooked and undervalued. There are brilliantly talented people everywhere who aren't receiving the recognition and reward they deserve. But once they arm themselves with the value and confidence and remove themselves from an environment that isn't serving them, they thrive and grow. Your gut is telling you something. listen to it. If it's telling you where you aren't enough, go where you are appreciated and valued. Know your worth. And I felt like for about 15 years, I was working so hard, and I finally had an opportunity to find my Boston theater, and that's US Bank, and I feel very grateful that I finally found my Boston theater. So I left the subway. But I just thought that spoke to me in so many ways. Me as a professional was the same 5 years ago, 10 years ago, was never given the opportunity. So just go out there and follow your heart and find what you want.
That's wonderful. That's a wonderful story. Yeah.
Thank you.
A high schooler will definitely appreciate that story. Yes, yes. Lisa.
So about a month ago, I was a part of this job fair for SCI, for the Black community in Portland. I'm wondering if we could do maybe something like that and put something together for AAPI and have our descriptions of jobs, and you know, where people can they can come in and they can learn a little bit more about each job and what they do and if it'll work for them, and if they can get involved and they would like more information, they can reach out to us.
Yes,
What do you
definitely.
think about that? Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Job fair. Yeah. Tony.
So I was actually listening to a podcast recently, and they were talking about how if you never try, you never get to reach your untapped potential, or to reach your potential. That kind of hit me a little deep. Also, I was listening to one of my coaches yesterday. He was talking about how every day is a new day and it's a new start. Whatever happened yesterday, it's already in the past, and you're gonna get a new challenge each day if you can just try to reach or try to approach that challenge in a new way. Because if you're doing everything that's in the past, it's not gonna work, because you're literally failing yourself. So just new challenges, new way to think each day. And then I'm also, if anyone's interested in becoming like a chiropractor or a sports physician, I'm always open via email, or you can call us and I can try to get back to you as well. But you know, it's hard to say like how every single doctor is gonna approach it. But for me, it was that untapped potential. That one hit me kind of deep.
That's good news. That's good news, because I work closely with lots of young people. You know, in our community, sometimes we think that the kids can only go to college, right? We only talk about college as the sort of like the post-high school opportunity. Looking at you, I think people can do a whole lot more, right? They don't have to be just a computer programmer. They don't have to just be an engineer. They could be a doctor. They could be a realtor. They could be a financier. Do you call yourself financier?
A banker.
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 Yeah.
You call yourself banker. Now, if a young person is not quite sure about their future, what would you tell them?
That is $1 million question. I think most young people don't know what they want. They probably have multiple careers in their lifetime, but always find something that they love, because when you identify an opportunity that you love, you would never feel like you are working. I feel like I go to work and play every day. I think Karina and I had that conversation today at lunch with one of our referral partners, is that we love what we do. When we go to work, we're playing. And I get to meet amazing friends like Lisa.
So your message is do what you love.
Correct. You will never work a day in your life when you do that.
I feel like, you know, there's so many opportunities out there, and you don't have to go to a college per se to get this opportunity. There is many trade schools that people can go to. We do need a lot of trade people in real estate. Like, we need plumbers, we need electricians, we need a lot of those people. That there are different types of schools, so not necessarily a four-year college. But sometimes school is just not for them, and they would rather take a quick course and do a trade job, and we have a lot of those jobs available for people. So, but in the real estate industry, National Association of Realtors started a new program. It's called the Inspire, and where I am also a mentor of the Inspire, but it's basically where all these people can come get online and join the group just to learn as a mentee. And it can be any area of real estate, whether it's financing, whether it's banking, whether it's selling homes, but it gives you an opportunity to see everything and see if that is a choice for you. And if it's not for you, then you can move on to something else. But it gives you at least a more general overview of what it is to be in real estate.
So the question of not knowing what to do, I think that's $1 million question. I didn't know what I wanted to do until I was in college. Like, I shadowed around and I kind of fell into it because I know that this profession allowed me to work with sports. But I was general major going through college, but you don't have to go to college to be successful in life. I would say find something that you enjoy. Just like Jenny said, that if you enjoy what you do, it's not really work because you're having fun, but also a mindset if you get to do something instead of I got to do something, that makes a big difference in just enjoying your job. So it's not a job if you're enjoying it, but if you're not enjoying it, then you have to do it.
True, true. I am going to ask Lisa to say a few words more about being the only Asian women owner of this firm.
Oh gosh, it was mind-boggling because I see a lot of Asian women that are realtors not realizing that they are just a part of teams and groups. My focus was never so much of being the only one to have a business, but my focus was to help encourage others to become successful and learn a little bit more. And I'm hoping that by me being here that it would definitely encourage a lot of women or AAPI to just follow your dreams, you know, and don't let people say, no, you can't do it. You have to step out of the box and just go. And you get a no sometimes, but it should never hold you down. You just get back up and you just keep going.
You know, people talk about role models, right? Role models really provide young people and all of us with the hope and also with a sort of like a model for you to follow.
Right.
Did you see a role model or did you have a role model before you started?
Before I started, I had my brother who, when he went to school, he just kept going to school till he got his doctor's degree and just kept pushing himself to do more. And I found that as very intriguing to me, and I wanted to do that because I'm youngest out of 6 children, and you know, in our Asian family, it was like the Filipino-Chinese Brady Bunch. So but we had a lot of siblings, and some of them went a different route, but my brother was very driven with school, and that's where it led me to realize that if I wanted to get somewhere in life that I have to push myself and I have to keep going. And yeah, so he was a good role model for me.
Good,
So.
good. Tony, what about you? Did you have a role model that you followed?
I think it's my parents because they came over here when it was nothing. They met over here, but my dad came here in the 80s and he became a welder, right? And my mom, she worked as a nail tech, and I saw how hard they worked. They never really pushed me in school. They just asked me to try my best. So anytime, like, if I didn't do well, they never really got on me, right? It's like a B is the Asian F, as we called it before, but they never pushed that on me or my sister. They always just asked us to do our best, and we saw how hard they worked from coming here with nothing. Then they were able to, you know, provide everything that for me and my sister growing up. So they inspired me a lot just to try.
Yeah. Jenny.
So my family and I moved to America from Hong Kong in 1989. And when my parents first moved here, they couldn't find a job. My dad has used up all of his savings that he had brought over from Hong Kong my mom, I remember not speaking English. We were living in Maine, of all places. Maine, like cold Maine, up northeast Maine. Not the fancy Maine, but a small town in Maine. I remember my mom opening up a phone book back in the days, phone book, they're yellow pages, calling every single Chinese restaurant nearby to see if there's a job for her. When I saw her do that, I came into sales. Nothing phases me. When somebody tells me, I don't want to work with you, Jenny, what do? I hang up the phone, call my next client, call my partners, because I remember my mom was calling into Chinese restaurants asking for a job. If I am calling clients today, telling them how amazing US Bank's product is nothing. And I think that might be why I've been able to overcome and outproduce my peers in sales, because my why is different than their why. They go to work, it's easy, they just do the minimum. For me, when I make every single phone call to solidify a relationship, I think of my mom. So I think my mom would be my role model. And a couple years ago, I was able to build a beach house for her to retire in. And I think that has been the biggest accomplishment yet.
Aww,
Oh,
that's so beautiful.
that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Are your parents in good health?
Luckily, they are, because they are still working in their Chinese restaurant, doing dishes, you know, doing everything. They have a very small business that they run at the beach for 30 years. It's not a money maker, but it's just enough where they get to get up every day and have a healthy living. They go to work every day still in their 70s. So yes, they're healthy. No doctors. They don't really have a lot of health issues. They may not have a lot, but they have their health and the beach that they get to look at. So
After this, you got to tell me the name of their restaurant and the beach. So we'll
I
go
will.
visit.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So I Gold Beach, Oregon, which is about 5.5 hours from here. And the business is called Wong's Cafe.
Yeah.
Now, they only do takeout after COVID, because my mom don't want to do dishes anymore. So, so they opened during COVID, and they had only to-go orders. And I was the waitress when I was in high school. I was, the waitress. I'll pay my little brother $2 to vacuum for me every night. So I was like subbing out the jobs back in the days. That's where my leadership skill came in.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That was very, very touching.
Yeah.
Very touching. Yes. Now, we are done with the pre-designed questions. I would like to give each of you an opportunity to say a few words to reflect on this experience before we open up to the audience for more questions. Okay, who would like to go first?
Okay.
Lisa.
I mean, I feel like I have learned so much more that we could tap into. There's so many more organizations and more things that we can find, especially through legislative. We can do so much more for our communities and for our AAPI members. I feel like we have a lot of work to get to do.
Yes, yes.
I'd like to say thank you, Stacy,
Yes.
Megan, Deanne, for having me here today. Like, I've learned a lot too. There's a lot of organizations that I didn't know about, and that are, like Meals on Wheels, doing things like that too, especially supporting AAPI. Like, there's just a lot of organizations that are supporting AAPI that I didn't know about, and I would like to learn more about. So, and again, lastly, thanks for allowing me to be here again today.
So I think my favorite word is grateful. I am very grateful to be here. Stacy, it was amazing meeting you through networking. And thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the support of my US Bank family and everyone that is in this room for your time, because I know time is very important. And I would like to have projects going with Lisa after this.
And our moderator, too.
And a moderator, yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much
She can lead us.
for the lead.
It's Stacy who's
And
going to
Stacy
lead us.
too.
She's the rain leader behind this, right?
Right, right. I totally agree with you. When Stacy asked me to moderate this, I thought, I'm not a business person. am I qualified to do that? She encouraged me. She said, yes, go forward. So here I am. I do want to take this opportunity to invite you to the life of our young people, like our high school interns, right? Stacy and Deanna know this. I write lots of grants. Fortunately, I get lots of grants. So one of the most recent grants is about internships for workforce readiness. I would love to talk to you more and send some high school interns to you who can learn everything from you and who can take you as the role models and then explore their future careers, right? Would that be a possibility?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. I would love to have them know you and visit Tony in your clinic
Yes.
and visit Lisa in her office and follow Jenny a bit here
I'm
and
very
there.
blessed. I have actually 5 different offices in Portland. So whatever that is most convenient, we'll do like a day at the office and we'll welcome them to come by.
You have 5 offices?
Very, very blessed. The West Side and Lake Oswego. It's actually her office. She lets me use it. So,
So do you sort of travel from all the offices?
I do. Yes. So I have Tennisbourne all the way to downtown and
Oh,
Lake
okay.
Oswego. Very blessed. Very, very blessed.
Wow, see, I learned something new about bankers.
So U.S. Bank is pretty amazing. We started here like in 1889. So
Okay.
this is our hometown. So.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Now we can open up to the audience for questions.
Dr. Liu, I have a question. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Well, this is the question for each one of our panel members. First of all, thank you very much for being with us here today at the Washington County Chamber. We truly appreciate it. This is our newest advisory council, and this is our first event, as you've heard. And so very excited that you decided to join us on this wonderful journey, and we really do appreciate your sharing your experiences. So the question I have is actually 2-part, which is, what is the best day in your career so far, and what has been the biggest challenge you faced? And Dr. Tony, how about we start with you?
Oh, wow. So the biggest challenge that I faced was actually coming up and starting a business plan because it was during the middle of COVID. That was the biggest challenge that I faced, especially with my career-wise, because I got laid off, and then creating a business plan, trying to build, getting lease space, that was pretty challenging, especially through COVID. The best day was actually, the cheesy answer would say meeting my wife, but then, but for work-wise would be when I was able to expand to a bigger space. Like, I think that's being able to have a space where patients can go, feel comfortable. I think that's more rewarding as well.
Thank you. How about if we go to Lisa next?
Challenges, I'm a people pleaser, so when I can't find someone at home, it really frustrates me. But what was the other question? I'm sorry.
Best thing.
Best thing.
The best day.
The best day so far.
The best days for me are when I get to put first-time home buyers into homes. It makes them happy. It makes me happy that I've done something. There's another one when I was able to put seniors into a home and make their dream reality. It makes me love my job even more.
Thank you so much. And Jenny?
Yes.
Biggest challenge, best day?
So the challenge, so every day in my position, there will always be a challenge every hour of the hour, and I would turn that challenge into an opportunity and to see how I can problem solve and bulldoze that challenge.
Good.
And when that is resolved, I feel really happy. And one of the happiest day of my career was probably the day Karina started, because she decided to join me on this journey into building a construction to permanent team for US Bank on the construction lending space. And another happiest day of my life was when I was able to hand the keys over to my parents of their beach house, because they never had a home in America. They've always lived in the restaurant on top of their business for 30 years. So now they get to have a place called home.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
That's lovely. It's lovely. It's really lovely.
Any other questions online? Okay, I have one more question, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right, so I want you to imagine that I'm a brand new entrepreneur wanting to start a business, and I know that you have mentored a lot of folks that are interested in starting a business. What's the one best piece of advice that you would share with them? And Lisa, we're going to start with you.
I'd say do your homework and research and understand what type of business you'd like to start, and maybe even interview other people of that same sort of business and help build yourself that foundation to be able to successfully open your company.
Yeah.
I think it's having a growth mindset. You're going to get hit with bumps, and sometimes those bumps will put you in a fixed mindset, but pretty much keep going, embrace the grind, because the grind will be there, and there's a new challenge every single day. So enjoy and have that growth mindset, and yeah.
Thank you. Jenny?
So for me, I think mindset is everything, and we need to be able to look at every challenge as an opportunity, be a solution developer, and just be grateful that you have something to solve every day. And I think by changing our mindset, such as, you know, the glass is half full or half empty, it's the same, right? It's always half full for me.
Any other questions? The audience in
Why are you all so awesome?
Thank you, Wendy.
I have a question, actually. I have never been a business owner, always an employee, right? What is the difference being the business owner versus an employee? Dr. Tony.
Very tough question here, but I think being a business owner is a lot more rewarding when it comes from me. When I was an employee, like, there are different stressors, but the stressor is usually when I was at work. But when I'm as a business owner, there's some stress at work, but then there's also stress when you go home, right? You want to make sure like your employees or assistants are taken care of. You want to make sure that they get paid, and make sure that if they're stressors and they can't figure it out, then they kind of put it on you as well. So there's just a lot of different other stressors that you have to address when you're a business owner.
How do you address the stressors?
Part of it is always having like a growth mindset as well. So know that I will be able to overcome it. So it's like, what is the problem? What is the solution? How are we gonna get from A to Z? That's usually where I talk to like either like a coach or my employee, like with my assistant or my biller. Like, these are some of the problems, and we try to figure out how we get from A. Like, we know what's the problem, we know what's the solution, but how do we bridge that gap is usually what I talk with other team members.
Do you have a problem-solving partner?
I do not. I am actually a solo entrepreneur.
Oh.
I don't have a partner.
Okay, well, thank
Also,
you.
no, my wife.
Who's sitting right here,
Correct.
right?
She's also my problem solver at times.
She said, good answer.
Yes, Lisa.
You know, holding yourself accountable. That's my biggest thing is, you know, you have no one else to blame for any of your failures or what have you. If you had a bad day, it's my own, it's on me. So being accountable for everything and managing my agents, and you know, for me it's I want them to be happy, and we work together as a team. And if there's issues that arise, we all problem solve it together. And then my CEO, my husband, he listens to me a lot. But other than that, I think, you know, just the accountability is of the ownership. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about being a business owner someday?
So in my role and my position, even though I'm a W-2 wage earner with U.S. Bank, but my primarily focus of my position is to be an entrepreneur, grow my business, because I am, every day, we don't go to work and just do the job that was given to us. As the role that we are in, which is mortgage originator, we are actually building our business, meeting clients, finding clients, sourcing clients, working with builders, finding the next project to work on.
I see.
Yeah, so it's almost like a hybrid role where we are being compensated as a W-2 wage earner, but ultimately our position is a building our brand, building our business.
Someday I need to intern with you, to shadow you, to really learn your world, actually.
So I actually have an office at PSU, the College of Education building, 1810
You
Southwest 5th.
You do?
I do. Wendy was there earlier today, the, PSU. So come see me. I'm there on Thursday, so we can connect. And we have so many different opportunity within the bank. So it's not just a cashier coming in to cash a check or get quarters, dollar bills. So banking is so much more than that. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So
That's
College
wonderful.
of Education, the new
Vanport building.
Yes.
Which floor are you in? Are you on?
Ground floor.
Ground
so we're
floor,
actually
okay.
storefront.
Right. We are on 2nd and 4th.
We're in the same building?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I just don't go there very often.
Okay. That is so interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ground floor right across the street from the CVS.
Yes.
US Bank right there.
Right.
We opened
Okay.
that about a year ago.
Okay. So we'll just have to make a date someday.
We'll do lunch. Or come
Yes.
into my office. I'll make you coffee. We have a Starbucks machine.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, today is a good opportunity for us to talk to leaders like Stacy and Deanna. What wishes do you have for the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, I can start out, and then Stacy can jump in as well. I would say that you know, we're actually achieving one of our wishes, which is the Chamber of Commerce wants to be reflected. We want to look like our community, and so you will see we've been very intentional about our diversity councils. And to me, it's all about making sure that every single person feels as though they're welcome within the walls of our organization, and that our organization is, you know, is reflective of the communities that we serve, and that there's a place in the state for everyone. And the question I have for all of you is, you know, you've seen how the Chamber of Commerce, we're about connections, right? It's right in front of you, it's happening live, making connections. And we want to grow our Asian Pacific Islander Business Advisory Council. How do we do that? Everybody's really busy. There's a lot of other organizations, but we're laser focused on creating opportunity and support for businesses that fall within the Asian Pacific Islander category and culture. So how do we grow this council?
I feel like getting involved with AAPI events that occurs around, maybe hosting a table at one of their events, like Pacific University, they have their Hawaiian week or Hawaiian month, and they have sponsors that come out and just have a table there and talk to people and learn of what they need. And that kind of things would just, you know, little events can go a long way.
I agree.
I think there's a lot of AAPI events that are going around, but I think we're not always just exposed to it. I know that some of my friends, they will post about it on social media, and we can just, share it with Washington County Chambers as well if we see these events, and then asking them how to be like a sponsor or have, like Lisa said, like have a booth at these events to network and mingle with these people. That'll be a really great way to just know people in the community as well.
Thank you. Stacey, do you have anything to add?
Come up to the mic. Yeah, I mean, ditto to everything Deanna said, basically. And my goal is to.
Step right up to the microphone.
Oh, I gotta step up right up too. Is that better? Cool. Okay. Ditto to everything Deanna said. My goal is to grow the council as much as we can, and one of the biggest challenges, obviously, is the Asian Pacific Islander like umbrella, right? There's so many different cultures and groups that fall within that, and I would just be happy to get representation for like 4 or 5 of those groups kind of actively participating in the council when we meet every month, so that we can get a sense and a feel for what's happening in the community to do, what Tony was mentioning. Hey, there's stuff out there, and Lisa was mentioning, get a table somewhere at a specific event so that we can show that, under the Washington County Chamber has this Asian Pacific Islander Business Advisory Council that wants to give back to the community in some way. We just have to figure out how best to do it, right? And if we have people representing each of those groups and organizations that are coming to the table and giving us thoughts and ideas about that, that's going to just make us a better council and equip us in the best way to do that, to give back to the community, because ultimately that's what we want to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any last word for the audience and the bigger world out there?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
First of all, thank you also to the speakers. Thank you for sharing your stories. So my question is, how do you see your business or your role in the AAPI community like 5 to 10 years from now?
Wow. That's an excellent question.
Thank you.
You want to start?
Yeah, sounds good. So 5 or 10 years, like, I can, Vietnamese is a second language to me. I can speak it, but not fluently, of course. I've been trying to see more Vietnamese patients. I think because a lot of times if they're going to like a doctor, they're always using a translator. I would like to try to see more Vietnamese patients so that I can be just straight, like face to face, have a conversation versus talking over like, a box, like a voice box, where a lot of times people are doing, especially in healthcare. So that's one way I would like to get more involved, is get more exposure to these Vietnamese patients as well.
For me, I would say being more of an educator to help others to do, maybe even get started with their business, or just being a cheerleader for them. And my company is very diverse, so growing that a little bit more and maybe setting a legacy for the future generation or my children to take over.
Amazing. For the next 5 to 10 years, I recently became a mortgage sales manager within the bank. I would like to create the next generation of mortgage professionals and be able to bring more Pacific Islander into the mortgage business and have more women in banking and finance as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience?
I do have one.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Oh. Yes. Yes.
Okay, I do have a question, and that would be, what would be one word that would describe yourself? Whether that could be a nickname or just something that describes yourself. That would be my question for panelists here.
Oh, gosh.
Excellent.
I think Karina knew exactly what I'm going to, I think she knew the answer, my nickname. So anyway, I have two nicknames. The first one is Jenny from the block, JFTV. I started, my friends from a small town of Gold Beach, Oregon, started calling me Jenny from the block because I'm literally one block from everybody because it's a town of 1,000 people, so you can only imagine. And then when I started working at the bank, they call me Jenny from the bank, so it's still JFTB. And then I kind of grow that a little bit more. Sometimes it's the yoga block, the real estate block, the butcher block, the building block. So that's my nickname.
How wonderful.
I don't know if I have a nickname. I do? What is it?
What are you on social media?
Oh.
A social queen? Huh? Oh, yeah. So the AAPI community calls me Mama Nish. And that is because maybe 75% of my business comes from AAPI, networking with people from Hawaii, from all the other islands. And when they come to me, they only ask for Mama Nish. So my Instagram, I could never change that to my first name because that's where my business comes from. So I've kept that.
That's lovely.
That was a great question. I actually don't have any nicknames, but I actually talked to my assistant today, and we were actually talking about core values, right? So we were talking about, I wrote down 5 core values, and then she wrote down 5 core values, and the one thing that we had in common was open-minded. So I think I'm trying to be open-minded, not hold opinions strongly, but loosely. And sometimes I'm wrong, but sometimes I'm right. But we want to be open-minded and see who, and just, sometimes you are not the right answer. It's not always the right answer. So just being open-minded.
That's lovely. Any more questions?
Well, I just want to thank our panel again. Thank you all for participating. Dr. Lou, thank you very much for moderating our conversation today. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Dr. Tony. Thank you, Stacy. She has been a cheerleader for this Business Advisory Council, and she's really hard to say no to. So thank you all for saying yes.
True.
And really, again, if you're interested in becoming part of the council, it's not a lifetime commitment unless you want it to be. But we meet the second Tuesday of every month from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. It's all virtual, so you can join a Zoom meeting from your own office or the comfort of your own living room and participate. We do have some opportunities scheduled this summer to be at Tuesday Night Market. We'll have our Diversity Council tent and presence will be at our Latino Cultural Festival, which is June 4th. Our Diversity Councils will also be represented at the Washington County Juneteenth event, which is June 17th at the Marinco Station Jerry Willie Center. And so a number of different opportunities where you can help us spread the word about our Asian Pacific Islander Business Advisory Council. And anything you can do to assist us in growing and providing resource and support. You've seen what we can do as an organization, and I think that we, again, are laser focused on ensuring economic prosperity for all businesses in Washington County. And with that, thank you very much for being a part of this really exciting launch event for this council.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.